Hi guys, hope you're well. Welcome to DOdaily. It's Des here, who's ready for some midweek motivation. Of course, it's all about Wednesday workout and trying to encourage a little bit of activity to see us through, try and inspire people to get involved. Just to check in, to see how it's all going, to keep us in good spirits and in the right frame of mind to push on towards the end of another busy week. Of course, things can get on top of us, so it's important to just sort of figure out where we are, what we're doing, and today is definitely an example of that. Before I explain why, just like to say, if you'd like to subscribe to the video, please do. Please use the icon in the bottom corner. Please like and share if you know anybody that'll take anything from it. All it is me and an honest and relatable explanation of the things I do, living this life like everybody else does, just a very, very ordinary person doing very ordinary things, but somebody that's trying to be really, really positive at the same time. I understand that life can get on top of us, and that's what Wednesday workout's all about more than anything. The busyness of work and stresses of family life and everything else that's going on in the world right now. Trying to understand that we can do things just to be that little bit better, be that little bit more on top of things, be so much more positive about things that we can control. And that's the important thing to remember in all this. All I'll ever encourage is things we can do, things that are achievable to absolutely anybody without too much commitment, without any sort of outlay and any big sort of commitment to the cause. It's all about looking after each other, realizing what we can do for the best. Today, as you can see, I'm down by the canal enjoying a really, really nice walk. And whilst I'm really, really busy, whilst I've got a lot to ponder and a lot to sort of plan for the rest of the day, I've got a bit of work to do, a bit of coaching to do this evening. I thought I'd take a bit of time at lunchtime to walk home. It's about 5 miles, I think. Made it slightly more scenic by a small detour through Willoughby Park. That's always a nice place to visit. So getting out whilst the weather's better than it has been. Not quite as warm as yesterday. It was amazing yesterday. Really enjoyed the solidarity session and seeing everybody out. T-shirt weather. It's not quite that today, but it's still nice to be out. So whilst it is a few miles, I'd normally build up a bit of a sweat. It's just keeping me cool. So again, I'm finding the positives in the fact it's not quite so warm. But it's so important to be out with all those things I've got to do. I'm really putting myself in the right frame of mind, building up a bit of positive energy to take into those. With everything I've mentioned personally, in the last couple of weeks, a lot to think about, a lot to ponder, a lot of sadness and thought about the future. It'd be easy to get bogged down, and that's why I work so hard at creating the positive energy. I've realised that on one hand it's okay to be upset, disappointed with things, but you can still be positive. I think what we forget a lot of the time is when we are sad and angry and disappointed, we find it hard to snap out of it. And what I'm learning all the time by doing these things, by using things I know that work, by doing something, not doing nothing, not dwelling on anything, not sitting back and thinking that it's going to be like this forever, realising that if I make something happen, it's going to make me feel better. And that's definitely the case, and that's what I'm doing now. If I can get out for a walk right now, whilst it does take a bit of time away from everything else, it's probably false economy in all reality, because if I didn't take this time, it'd probably take me a lot longer to do the things I need to do. My thought processes probably wouldn't be as clear, and would my heart actually be in it as well? Once we get tired, we start thinking of we start making bad decisions, we start thinking of other things, you know, we start trying to find excuses. And what I try to do now is find an excuse to do something rather than an excuse not to. And again, just a slight change in perspective, just a slightly different approach. You know, it's not rocket science, it's not too much, it's not huge, but what it is a mechanism I can use for myself that really helps, you know, and that's fantastic. Whilst I'm out for a walk, I'm seeing lots of positivity around me, lots of people doing more normal things. So again, it all bodes well, doesn't it? Just over my shoulder here, there's people enjoying the canal side, a really popular area in Nottingham for socialising and drinking, and great to see again, to be honest. It gets really busy at the weekend and on warm days like today. So like I say, really good to see, really enjoy that. Seen lots of that, to be honest. In Willoughby Park there was a little fun fair for kids, but people were using it. Just shows that we're making some progress, doesn't it? We're doing what we need to do. And the reason I felt like I needed to check in today is because talk about some of the challenges we do on a Wednesday. We do a Wednesday workout challenge, of course, and looking to introduce different workouts and different exercises that people can get involved in, people can use to distract from all those things I've mentioned. But really tried to make the most of them recently. Not been able to run. Regular viewers might be aware of that. I've been injured. I've had a slight hamstring injury, enough to keep me out for a couple of weeks, do you know. And when I really need it, which I have at times in the past couple of weeks, running is always my go-to thing, do you know. It's the one thing that picks me up out of a slump, gets me feeling good about myself, get all that sense of achievement back, feel fantastic. So I've been trying to use these challenges to be positive, but I found one thing it might be doing is just creating a bit of negativity, and that's what I'm trying to eradicate by getting out for a walk, walking home, trying to put a different slant on my day. Whilst I was running, do you know, I've been trying to complete 10,000 steps a day, really attack it. Not really had to think about it because getting plenty of miles in, also topping it up with a walk, which I enjoy doing anyway, regardless of whether I can run or not. And whilst I've not been running, it's been really difficult to hit that 10,000 steps in good time every day. Whilst I do it, you know, it creates a bit of stress at the end of the day, creates a bit of anxiety because it's something I'm trying to use to justify not being able to run. So I've realised I need to try and get it done a bit sooner, whether that's getting up again earlier in the morning, you know, a habit again, something I got on top of slightly, but it's just slipped away from me. Some of that anxiety, some of that fact I've probably got to get those steps in a bit later. It might be meaning I'm going to bed a bit later, you know, I'm feeling more tired about what I'm doing, plus all those stresses, you know, all the real stuff, you know, all the big stuff. Just made me just sent me a little bit off track, and it just felt like today I needed to sort of check in and explain that, because it's so easy, isn't it? Whilst there's lots of positives, whilst I'm working off the positives right now, you know, it's so easy just to slip away and fall into bad habits. So here I am trying to create a good one, trying to get on top of these steps, and they're building, believe me. I've got up to about just under 10,000 right now, which feels fantastic, because it's not been like that for a week or two. I've not been right on top of it, but today I really am. I'm getting towards home, and that's nearly done, so I can set about the jobs I've got to do this afternoon safe in the knowledge that I've achieved. And it's always better when we've achieved, isn't it? You know, and it's always better when we get some fresh air. Spoke a lot a couple of weeks ago about the blue light and helping us wake up properly. So again, it's about getting out as much as I can, making the most of it to put me back where I need to be. And that's important to remember, guys, because we're all feeling this situation, we're all living it, you know. Whatever's improving, and lots of things are, as I mentioned back there, you know, there's still lots to deal with, but we're not alone. Do you know, there's always somewhere to refer to, something to do, something to get involved in. Do you know, and whilst I'd love that to be people watching DOdaily, people getting involved in the do running activities, you know, I understand it's not for everybody, but what we are is a safe space where people can get a few ideas of how myself, you know, is living this thing, living it through, living that roller coaster that we tend to experience, you know. And that's all it's about. Wednesdays are about staying on top of it, but not just staying on top of it, being positive, you know, putting positive things into place to create positive energy to keep us moving forward. So whilst I look on it like that as something we've got to get through, get over, you know if we can still be feeling tip top Wednesday, Thursday morning, Thursday afternoon, you know, we all look forward to the weekend, or when we've got our own free time. I'm sure everybody's not that fortunate to have the weekend free, you know. We all look forward to that spare time, and that's what it's about, isn't it? Sort of preserving ourselves a little bit. Whilst I don't want to sort of say let's just float along, I made the point yesterday, if every day was the same, we'd just end up in a slump, because our mood would just go down, you know. So it's not just about preserving it, but if we can preserve positivity, if we can take that forward, if we can do things to build upon it, you know, as the end of the week approaches, it definitely works for me. I have some of my favourite DOdailies to do, some of my favourite things to do at the weekend, you know, and that's what we live for, isn't it? Life's not complicated, it really isn't. You know, I mentioned right at the start of this video, I'm just an ordinary person doing really ordinary things, but I've learned that the really ordinary things are the things I love the most. And when I learned that, you know, everything changed. So if you can take anything from it, just try do something you enjoy. You know, if it is getting out and being active, if it's working to some kind of challenge, some kind of steps, or running, or even just building up slightly. I've been doing a small plank challenge with the Do Running guys, where I'm just trying to build it up slowly. My body doesn't like it, but I'm giving it a go, and it's making me feel great. You know, it's just another thing that's very easy to do, very accessible. If you need details on it, check out the Closed Do Running Facebook group. But it's just one of those little things that are helping me tick over and making me feel really, really positive about what I'm doing. So like I say, try something you love if you're not feeling fantastic. Don't just sit and mull over it. Don't think that anybody or anything owes you, because it really doesn't. Mentioned a few times the blunt reality of life's not fair. You know, it really isn't, and I'm going to experience that even more so in the next few weeks, months, whatever, you know. So I've got to do whatever I can, whilst ever I can, to stay right on top of it. As I mentioned before, if you like the video, please like, share, subscribe. Let anybody you know who might take something from it about what I'm doing. You know, I'm always looking for support and encouragement. You know, whilst it is my personal vlog, whilst it's my journey through a very ordinary life, you know, of course, when you do something like this, you want to do your best, you want to build it, you want to see how far it can go, and that's all I'm looking to do myself, guys. Just retain some focus, you know, do something positive to try and pass on some of the things that have worked for me, because I know over the last couple of years, whether there's a pandemic or not, I've been feeling absolutely fantastic. If you're someone that blames the pandemic, just quickly before I go, if you're someone that blames the pandemic, when it's not there, you'll just find something else to blame, you know, because that will be the type of person you are. I don't want to pick on anyone or have a dig at anyone, because that's not really what That's really not what this is about. But that's the harsh reality as well. Do you know, you've got to want to be positive. You've got to want to do the things you enjoy. Who doesn't want to do the things we enjoy? Let's be realistic about this. If you don't want to do the things you enjoy, then how are you ever going to feel better? But that's getting a bit preachy. That's getting a bit deep, isn't it? I don't want to be that, because it's all about encouragement, participation, and realising what works. I've got my steps in, got my walk in. Looking forward to cracking on some really steep steps at the moment. Just along the canal here. So, till tomorrow, guys. Have a great Wednesday. Make sure it's full of activity or full of something you want to do. Till tomorrow, just doing it.